All right. Hi. Hello, everyone. Let me just quickly also set up the live chats. Yes. Perfect. I hope you all are having a great day till this point and you all are equally excited to proceed for the day two. Can I quickly get thumbs up or some reaction in the chat if my voice is clear, if you guys are able to hear me correctly? Come on, guys. Let's quickly do that. Suadeep, hi. I am doing great. How are you? Hi, Surya. It's so interesting to meet so many of you live. Okay. Yes. So I have started getting thumbs up at this point. Great. All right. Thank you so much. That confirms that the voice is audible. Now we will quickly jump on to the sequel. Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you everyone for asking. Uh, Whereas let me just share one text with the moderator so that they can share it with you. I'll just quickly create one doc file. Okay, so here we are. I'm just writing in some doc file for you. Okay, let me also be able to share it with you. All right, perfect. Let me share, create Airbnb db. I'll use file share, publish to web, publish. Okay, with the link. I'll just copy this. Let me confirm if this works correctly. Yes, you will be able to copy from here. Let me share this link with the moderator so that uh, they can share it with you all. So the reason I'm supplying you this ready-made code is so that we can save time rather than me typing it out line by line and you copying it line by line. It will be important that we use this doc file and you just copy the code from here. Okay. So yes, I hope that the code is available to you. You can see that the moderators have put it in the chat section correctly. Please use this link. Okay, please make sure that you are able to access this data. Now let me quickly go and open up the workbench, and do not forget that practice SQL is something that is available to us online. We can also use this practiceSQL.com for people who do not have access to the local server, okay, or the workbench. All right, now let's jump back. All right. All right. So, Suvadip, at this point, I'll recommend that you use the online version of it. Okay, that will be uh, that will be convenient at this point rather than we debug why your SQL is not installing. Now we go back to the workbench. I connect to my local server. Okay, now let me connect over there. Now let me first drop database hotels which I just created. Okay, this is done. All right, perfect. Now let us just quickly write one SQL query. Okay, and this is where basically I would want all of you to understand how the databases are created. So the very first thing that we will learn here, of course, we will not talk about the permissions, right? Because uh, the DB admin can make sure that certain amount of people have access to create databases and collections. Some have only access to read the database. Some have uh, permissions to update the database, right? So it depends on that. But for now, since we are in our local DB, we are actually working like an admin, so we will have complete access. Create is the command to use to create something, right? We can create table, we can create a database, we can create many objects of SQL, right? Yes. Just to repeat that I've shared one code for people who joined now. I've shared a code with you which is available in the doc files. The admin is promptly putting it in the chat section. You can find it. Like if I go to the live chat, I'm easily able to locate the docs.google.com document. You can use it to retrieve it, right? Can you zoom a little bit on your code area? Yes, of course, I can. All right. I hope this is fair enough. All right. So now we can create database. So create database. As I mentioned yesterday, that SQL is not case sensitive. So even if I write database in capital or uh, lower caps, it doesn't impact. Okay. Uh, the thing is that if I run the command create database by the name of uh, database name, whatever I'm going to put, okay, what will happen is that this command will be executed. Uh, but there is a good way to do it. Okay, the good way to do it is check if it not already exists. If not exists, okay, this will make sure that if you are making a database by mistake, which means that you have already created a database earlier, and by mistake you're running this command again, it will not uh, it will be naturally implied that okay, I do not have to create a database because it already exists. This is what the command is trying to say, and then it will save the overwrite problems that might happen. So I'll create a hotels, okay, database by the name of hotels. Now SQL follows a syntax of semicolon. Okay, let me just quickly validate that if the practice SQL website will be able to also help you create databases. Okay, I'll just bring in the part and I'll try to run it. Okay, okay. So that's a okay. Let me just for now remove. I think they do not follow with the if syntax. Create database hotels and try to run it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that this feature will be available. You can only uh, run, I think, from here. But there is import. There is an import feature through which you can import, and import can help you load the database from your local. Okay, all right, that's fine. But I think for now for the people who do not have access to the local server, they can just follow up with me what I'm trying to do here. Okay, let me just close this. So let me just try to run this command once. So once I run this command, you see at the bottom we have the logs section. Okay, where is the code? Right, so you see in the chat section, the moderator has put a doc file, https docs.google.com/document. The code is in that document. Okay, you can refer to that URL, go to the code and use it from there. Okay, and don't worry, even if you are not able to open the document, I'll help you create the uh, schema, or at least the code structure, and then you can auto populate the code from there, right? So how do you run this code, right? Yes, so you can either select the file and run this logo, execute the selected portion. Okay, uh, if there is no selection and you just run it, it will run the entire script. Okay, the other way is to use control enter. So remember, in the bottom section I mentioned that there is the output or the log section, right, which will help you understand what is happening in your commands, what type of commands are running. The very first command which I ran was exactly some 5 minutes ago. Drop database hotels. You can see the ID number 1. I'll highlight it. Uh, okay, which is where I'm dropping the database. The next command which I'm running is to create database, and now it created a new database for us. Uh, Only reason for it to create is that there was no prior existence of this database, right? Now if you look in the third log, it says create database. It doesn't throw an error. It says that there is one warning, warning that cannot create database because it already exists. And which is where I think if not exist command is useful to us. All right. Yes. So yeah, there is a certain syntax error in the online SQL. Yeah, you can just skip to create the database for now. You can just follow in from here. Okay. Now, if you are not able to see the database in the left schema section, there is a reload button or refresh button. Okay. Once you click on it, you should be able to see the hotels now as the database being created. Uh, I doubt that my screen should be visible. I think it's an isolated problem. Can others please confirm if my screen is not visible to anyone? Okay. So once we have done this, the next command that I will introduce to you is how to write comments in SQL. Now, this is again a very important strategy for coding, right? Commenting is an important strategy in any code. Why it is so? Because it helps you uh, recall why you have written this particular statement and what it does. Okay, it also improves the readability and the ability for your code to become self-explanatory, right? You have written a code which is fine by you because it's written by you. Maybe you have uh, good memory to retain, and maybe like the lines, by reading as the lines you will be able to retain your memory that okay, why did it at that time. I'll be able to understand that. But if I'm a third person, I'm reading your code, it's not written by me. So comments will definitely help me understand why you're doing it something over there, right? So uh, mostly comments are written in different languages in different ways. So in SQL we use the two hyphens or the two dash like this, okay, dash dash, and we write whatever we want to write. uh, how to use create command to you can say create new database. Okay, we will use one more command which is how to, okay, fine. Fine till here. I think if you people have successfully run this command, we will move to the next section. Okay, if we go to the schemas, we drop it down, you see there is nothing in the tables at this point because there is no table that exists for now. So what we can do is we can use create command. Okay, how to use a create command to create new tables. Okay, so in order to create tables, basically create is the command used, right? Rather than writing database this time, I'll write table. Okay, again the idea is if not exists, right? This is the correct way to do it, and I'll go for Airbnb listing. Suppose if I'm creating a database for a company, say Airbnb, okay, or make my trip or any company which we can make. So the correct way to do it is, first of all, any executable, right? Something that has to execute, it has to end with a semicolons in SQL also, right? Like some languages follow this, SQL also follows a semicolon to end it, right? So for native Python developers, this will be something that you will have to adapt to because Python uh, is self-adaptive. It doesn't need a semicolon to explain that this is one command to run, right? Okay. Now, if we go to the create table if not exist, this is where we will specify the column name. Uh, we will specify the data type. We will specify whether it is a primary key or not. Okay. Okay. Now, how many of you know about certain algorithms which help you optimize your search query, right? Put it in the chat if you know any cool, if you have read with the DSA syllabus, tell me about some good search algorithms. And there is one important test for all of you, uh, like a quiz. When I talk about time complexity, For people who are non-tech, do not worry. This is something not uh, much important at this point. Uh, okay, I'll just keep it simple. Okay. Uh, at this point, I'll give you three options. Okay. Say option one, say option two, say option three. Tell me which is the most preferred option that you would want. Okay, most preferred option that you want. Now I see people are putting in the binary search, AVL tree search, yes, like some tree based algorithms and things like that. And Shubham is on top of it with option 3, Ishan option 3. Great, this is really interesting. I'm happy that we have Siddhakar with linear search, binary search. All right, we have Ram Guhan, we have Steve, we have okay, student, Kulem, and Bhuvan Siddhakar. Okay, many of you are able to correctly guess the value, right? So now imagine that we are running a query. Okay, suppose if I have to find myself on any platform, could be LinkedIn, could be Instagram, or YouTube, anywhere. I have to search something, right? These are the apex of the IT boom, right? These platforms, like the amount of database that these people are handling is the edge, the cutting edge of this planet's mammoth size of big data, right? That we talk about. So in such scenarios, still the retrievable response is very decent, I'll say, right? Like, it's still surprising to see that how these uh, companies are able to quickly search in millions and millions of row, that if I have to search for my name Gaurav, or even retrieve all the IDs possible with Gaurav, how they are able to do it, right? So this is where the concept of indexing come into picture, right? So what happens is, the search algorithms which I talked about, right? You know that one could be the brute force. I'll try to explain you. I'll try to see what I will do is, since the target audience is uh, naive, right? Of course, there are so many students or professionals over here who know about time complexity, who know about search algorithms. I've seen that even in the comments. But um, rather than just this 10-15 people who are in the comment, we have uh, hundreds of people watching this session live, right? So to put it simply for everyone, let's just understand the concept. Okay, suppose there are numbers like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, now what I will do is, okay, let me just also take a central number to it. Okay, I'll say 11, and for simplicity's sake, we all know that 6 is the central number to this point, right? 1 2 3 4 5 values to the left, and 1 2 3 4 5 values to the right of 6. Okay, now imagine I have to find the roll number 10. Okay, I have to find roll number 10 at this point. So what will happen is that if I go with the uh, brute search is like the brute force, right? We call it like the, in Hindi we call it like the Bail Buddhi or something like that, right? The laborious task, not the smart task, the laborious task. So what someone will do is, it will start digging from 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, because we are pretty sure that this value exists in our database. It is somewhere. So even if I start looking at each of the row, I'm pretty sure one day I will reach a row where my actual value is supposed to lie. But it is the least preferred method. I'll tell you the reason for that is because it's time consuming to begin with, right? And in real world, we cannot make applications scalable with this value. You are able to locate 10 still in few seconds because we are just counting 1 to 10. Imagine if I tell you to count from 1 to 100 crores or 10 crores, right? At least 10 crores or a crore even. Uh, you can imagine the amount of laborious things which are needed, right? So the next thing is, yeah, hit and trial could be one more logic to look at it. See, these are all logics to look at it. The other way would be, I can simply store the median of my complete database. I will just compare the input value, what I'm trying to find, whether I'm trying to find the central value, or whether we are trying to find the value which is greater than or less than the central value. Okay, that's let me just read through some comments. The full document, most of toggles are empty. Is it just me who is finding the empty toggles in the Notion? Okay, I'm not sure what it is about. All right. So, okay. Now, what will happen is that suppose if I have to find 10 from the median value, I'll compare simply is 6 less than, greater than, or equal to 10. I'll find it is greater than 6. The 10 is obviously greater than 6. So I'll save my efforts of looking into the left part. Okay, I no need I have to look at this part. I can just simply eliminate this part. Okay, or you can say this part is gone. I just have to look to the right of it. Now I'll simply take the next median and I'll compare whether the 9 is less than, greater than, or equal to 10. We will say that okay, 9 is less than 10, which means we still have to go towards the right section of it, and I'll just compare 10, right? So just in 3 steps, I'm able to reach the correct value which I want. So this is the power of the algorithms. Okay, there are different type of search algorithms, sort algorithms, okay, merge algorithms, different type of algorithms in the concept of DSA. I think this is the good foundation and good motivation and inspiration for you to start learning DSA, right? Because you were just able to witness a little power of how DSA can help you solve something in a smarter manner. So similarly, what happens is that in any database, be it SQL, NoSQL, we can create certain keys with indexes, right? What happens is that suppose if I have to find a name, okay, name as Gaurav. If I create a column by the name of names, first name, and I create it as an index, which is not the most optimal choice for index. I'll tell you why later on. And if I put it in the search query, what will happen is that using these algorithms, I'll not go into the concept of indexing. Using these algorithms, the database will be first able to match where just by using my index where this row is located, and then using this row I'll be able to locate the complete row in the database actually and retrieve the value, right? So this is the little bit concept of indexing, how it's supposed to work. Okay, so similarly, when just imagine if I create index using floats or strings, these themselves are heavier values, right? So we should avoid using them. But still, it depends upon the developer's choice. Depends upon uh, how much of the data do you have in the very first place, right? Before you start seeing the detrimental effect of using the wrong indexing strategies. Okay. All right. So the Notion document is not complete. There are just headings, and when the toggles are open, it is empty. I'm not sure which Notion document are you talking about, Priyanshu. Can you quickly? Okay. I think someone from the moderators will help you with the Notion document, right? Okay. You can just scroll up in the chat. You should be able to find the doc file which was being shared some time ago, or the moderators will give it back to you. Don't worry. Now, point is, so if I use strings and floats as my primary keys, or even the index keys, then it is a heavy competition that I'm putting for the CPU. Just imagine using integers, because integers requires less number of bits, right? And floats will require more of it. So I'm storing more of the computational power. Now, I will not deviate a lot from the topic, but I'll just give you some hints that this is a very good time to learn about L1, L2 cache and RAM, or how the motherboard is supposed to work, how CPU uses L1, L2 cache, which are much more faster than your RAM also, right? And then how the concept of RAM comes into picture. This will better help you understand, okay, the idea that why the CPU is so fast in these things. I'll just leave you with those hints, nothing more than that. Now we come back, okay? So suppose if you have to create a table. So I gave you one nice hint that your primary key should be something which is more like an ID, okay? Rather than choosing Aadhaar card or phone numbers, which can be still chosen and are chosen. Depends upon a developer and the amount of data that you're working with. Uh, Something like roll number or login ID, which are just integers in few hundreds or few thousands or few lakhs. Because if you reach few lakhs, then the Aadhaar card and phone numbers also become the same thing, right? So, according to the ANSI, which is like the governing body of databases, they recommend that primary key should be unique to begin with, right? And each two rows should be comparable. Okay, like there should be a logic that the ID 10 and ID 11 and ID 12, how they're created. Like, of course, 11 was created after 10 and 12 was created after 11, and obviously 5 was created much earlier than these IDs, right? So if you have such type of a column in your database, that is a primary candidate to make it primary key. Okay, and trust me, it is when you start working with databases, just by looking at few of the collections, you will start finding many subtle hints to realize, okay, what should be your primary key. So again, in my case, I'll create one ID, and I'll declare that it is of the database integer type, and I'll declare that let it be primary key. Okay, primary key. I'll put a comma, and then I'll put in city. Let city be my one another, and it is a string, basically a varchar, okay, like a variable character with up to 50 max length. Okay, now ideally you can keep 100, 150, whatever, but sometimes as beginners, as freshers, we might have doubt why to put such a small limit, right? 50, why not go for 1000 or 500 at least, or 100 even, right? See, the point is that yes, the point is that you should try to optimize your memory usage. So every time you create a row, uh, despite your city using only 5 characters, the default allocation would be for maximum 50 length, right? So we should optimize it and limit it, that we know that no city could have more than 50 characters. Yes, I think Shubham is right on the point to reduce wastage in storage, right? That is how you will start thinking as a developer that I don't need more than 50. Yeah, same can be applied to the country also, right? So let us go for 50 over here. With this being said, number of rooms, right? So number of rooms, if we say, again, this could be an integer, right? And again, year listed, in which year was it listed? So year listed could again be integer, because for computer it's just 4-digit integer, right? And we can just simply close it. This is how you can use the command to create new tables. All right, so with this being said, how do you insert values into the table? How to insert values into our tables, right? So yesterday we have talked about these commands to begin with, like uh, okay, let us just quickly check what's the issue. The link is opening, but when I'm accessing the notes, the toggle headers are expanding, but there is nothing under the toggles, like under the installation procedures. Okay, do not worry, Priyanshu. If at all some document is missing at this point, make sure to connect with your team offline, or put in, or this message separately. We will try to help you with it. No issues. Now, coming back, that how to insert values into our tables, right? If you have to look over here, uh, I explain you that we simply use insert command. But insert where? So insert into your table name, right? So sometimes it is beneficiary to explain your SQL that which database are you talking about. So use database name. Okay, if you add this and then you say insert into the table name, it will surely understand which table are we talking about, right? Even if you do not want to use this command, okay, say we do not want to use the use database command, what we can simply do is we can even mention over here explicitly the database name followed by a dot, which will tell it that in this database, this table name, right? So insert into this table name, okay? And what are we inserting? So we will have to mention the column names, right? The column names are city, ID. I think we have country. We have number of rooms. For now, I'll just keep it rooms, comma. We will keep it years. Okay, and values will be. I'll put in values like this. Okay, so definitely ID one. I'll talk about, say, things like India. This is in India. Okay. Uh, and sorry, the first thing should be city. So suppose even if I say Delhi and I say city as India, the next thing is number of room. How many rooms do I have over here? I have, say, 10 rooms in this hotel, and it was listed in 2020, something like this. Okay, so I can keep on adding these values. So this is where, I explained you that do not worry if, even if someone is not able to open the document, you can just create the a table for yourself. Okay, this should not be such a big deal. End it with semicolon to explain that where are we ending. Okay, so if you're able to follow that document correctly, I think this is where you should land up on, right? Okay, so I'll just quickly recap you what we have done till this point. Yes, let me zoom out a little bit for this use case. Okay, so the very first line explained you was how do you create databases, but not over here. I also explained you how to delete databases, which is drop. Okay, and how to use our database. Now, if I'm explaining which database I'm using, I need not explicitly mention over here which database I'm talking about. I can simply just talk about the table name, and I can explain the schema. Okay, so line number one, we are creating the database. Line number three, we are explaining which database to use. Line number 5 till 17, we are creating the database, and then on line number 21, we are using an insert operation. Okay, so with the insert operation, we can insert the following things into our database, and once you successfully run this, okay, let me just successfully run this command for you. I'll do run all. You will see that now my log outputs four different things in parallel. Okay, you will see that at uh, 7 p.m. 4 minutes 37 seconds, following commands were executed, right? uh, because these are written in one single prompt. Okay, uh, usually we run one command at a time, so the logs come one by one by one. But if I select everything and run it in sequence, you see this is how it is running, and each thing gives you enough details in the message to understand what's happening over there. So create database, one row was affected, and one warning that we cannot create database again because this database exists. But use hotel, zero rows are affected because this uh, command simply doesn't modify anything in database. Just zero rows are affected. Create table, if not exists, zero rows are affected because we are just creating the schema of the table and we are not inserting anything into it. But when we say insert, this is where 20 rows are affected and none of them are duplicates, none have warnings. This is the enough detail that the messages can give us. Now let me just quickly refresh my schemas, and if I go into the table, here we are, right? So this is quite interesting for me to check that if I want, I can simply do select everything from um, Airbnb listings, right? And when I hit enter, it gives me this table. Sometimes if it's not working for you, maybe you can add the database name, then try to hit it. Okay, you should be able to retrieve everything, right? Great. This is fair enough that I am able to create databases now in SQL. I am able to do a lot of things when it comes to uh, SQL, even to begin with this session. So we have now fair understanding about uh, how to choose primary keys, what is indexing. We know how to create databases, delete databases. We know how to create tables and how to retrieve values from tables. So suppose if I just want to see the city, okay, select city and just say I want ID, city and ID. So I can just mention that, and you see I get city and ID. So this is definitely going to impact the sequence. If I would have written id first and then city later, this would have altered the locations of my rows in the output. Okay, so it depends, but if I want everything, I can just go back to everything, and this is what I get. So with this idea being clear, we will try to run few things, right? We'll try to understand. So we will try to see how to query tables. Okay, so the first thing that you have learned is how to get all the columns from the table. The idea is very clear. Select asterisk from Airbnb listings. This should run for you. So suppose if we have to just find a particular city or number of row, uh, that also we have covered, right? Suppose if we have to find the id city, and let us say a number of rows. So quickly students, you can even try to run it before I do, but this time with a catch that I want it in the ascending order. Okay, I'll give some time to people to absorb this and try to see if they are able to crack it. Okay, so firstly the thing would be these three columns with the most important keyword, because we have to find it in the ascending order. So the keyword is ASC. Okay, let us try to see how many of you are able to do it with the ASC. Okay, all right, just a second. We might have hit. Okay, of course, we will have to give it which column to use for ascending, right? So I'll have to order by. Order by is the command that number of rooms. This is, suppose for example, I want to use ascending and descending on. So I'll have to use that command, and this is how you'll be able to execute the complete script with the ascending orders of the number of rooms, right? So again, we are experimenting many things, and I want you to keep on following with me. I'll just recap: create, delete, okay, of databases, of call of tables. We have covered that. We have covered the idea of primary key, how to make one. We have covered a little bit idea when while creating table, how we can mention what is a primary key, and how to use the definition of different columns, right? And the column name, the data type it holds, okay, and things like that. So now once we are done there, we are trying to see some data aggregation or data query prompts, right? So this is how we use ascending, and it is very simple. You just need to change to descending to get a descending order. So if the question is find me the city with the highest number of hotel rooms, so just by running this query, and I'll be able to answer the management that Paris, Dubai, and Istanbul, these are the cities which have the highest number hotels with the highest number of rooms on our Airbnb, right? Okay, so with this being said, basically, uh, what if I also want to then check for the country? Okay, so I can just simply also add country, and I'll say France in Paris and UAE in Dubai and Turkey in Istanbul are the or like vice versa. These are the countries. Okay. With this being said, this is a little bit about how we can do it. But what if my database is too lengthy and I just want top three of them? So I can use one more prompt which is known as limit. A limit to top three. And okay, you have a SQL query with the syntax error. All right, let me just check with it. I'll just remove this comma, and this is where we are. Now, if you see, it is very much evident that I need to print the entire table. I can simply limit it that I just need the top three of them, and this is where I end up with, right? Now, suppose what we will do over here is, okay, just a minute. Let me try to minimize this a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now I'll give you one more interesting thing to do. Get unique list of a column values. Okay, basically this is something you will do for categorical uh, values, right? So if you are into data analysis, you will understand that what is a numerical value and categorical value. Even if you are not into DA, this is a very common knowledge to have, that category values are something that have unique counts, right? For example, different name of animals, you can classify them. It's possible to create groups or classes based on them, right? Color, red, blue, green, these are categories. Whereas gender is a category, male or female, or whatever it is, right? But values like the salary, values like the age, height, weight, these are numerical values. Okay, so suppose if I want to understand how many distinct cities do I have in my database, so again we will use select command. Select is used, and distinct is the keyword used to find. And uh, distinct of what column? Okay, this is something that you put over here, like the column name basically, what you put over here. So I need distinct of city, right? So I'll write city, but from where is this city? You have to explain that to the SQL or your MySQL. It is in the Airbnb listings. Okay, so if I run this, this is where I am able to retrieve all the distinct uh, city names, right? So this is really interesting that I am able to retrieve 20 distinct cities: Paris, Tokyo, New York, London. And you will say there is no duplicacy. You will not find that Paris is duplicated. These are unique values. Okay. Now let us learn how to filter your database based on conditions. Okay. So first of all, before we keep proceeding, is the pace correct? Is the teaching helping you? Are you getting bored? Do you want to do something else, or is this benefiting? Can I have just quick reviews, people? We have so many of you in the live chat, and I promised you all that day two will be all hands on. I think this is what you all wanted. And are you enjoying the hands on? Can we have a quick survey and feedback about it? Like, should we continue with this pace? Do you want me to keep on solving more and more questions with you? Okay, or do you want some more theory to come in again? Let me understand that part. Okay, so I think yes, people are, at least Surya has for now been active, and he has mentioned that okay, this is the correct way to keep on proceeding, right? At any point, if you feel that you need a more theory, or you want to talk on a few things, we can jump back. Okay, let us keep on continuing with more on the questions. Then I think you people are enjoying the session with this. All right. So yes, more practical. Yes, yes. Okay, that's thank you so much, students, for this feedback. Let us keep on doing it then at the time. Suppose now let us take one more question, that we need to find in our database the hotels where the number of room is more than 3. Okay, so what we'll do is we will select. See, by now you are smart enough to understand how select works. What if I only need the country names? What if I only need the city names? It is as simple as just putting in city over here, right? Or the country over here. So even with the commas. So for simplicity, I will use asterisk. So from, again, by now the idea of using select and from is very clear to you, that from where do I want to do it? I want to do it from Airbnb listings. Okay, so this is where I will go. Uh, and this is where I introduce one more interesting keyword, which is known as where. Where is used for filtering. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll try it. Yes, we will go through. So Piyush, I think we have already covered the drop. Okay, I'll cover some of the alter for you. Don't worry, I'll cover that if time permits. I'll go there. Okay. Uh, so yeah. Meanwhile, we will keep on doing more of the selects and wheres where you want. Okay. So select from the column name where what I said. Number of rooms, number of underscore rooms is greater than 3. Is it possible to get something like this? Yes, there are many cities where the number of row is greater than 3, and you see how I'm able to uh, you can say get all this. Again, limit command I have used. If I need only top 2 values, I can use limit with it. Okay, so this explains you how to do it. Okay, uh, now can someone explain me? I'll give this as a live exercise to all of you. I need the number of rooms to be exactly equal to 3. Tell me, what do I modify in my code? Go ahead, the live chat is yours. You need not write everything. Just tell me, what do I need to modify if I need number of rooms to be exactly 3? This is what I want. Let us see how many of you are able to crack it in the live chat. Okay, so Kapil has mentioned greater than 2. Okay, but I just needed to think about it, Kapil, that if u is greater than 2, then even 4 is greater than 2, even 5 is greater than 2. Let me try to replicate that for you. You see, I'd not only get values which are exactly equal to 3, but I also get 5 and 4. So I hope this clears it out, but yes, rest of you have cracked it. Basically, we will have to use equal to. Now remember, for the people who are uh, putting in equal to, they are coming from the programming domain, I get it, but even single equal to will suffice the work, whereas using double equal to will throw you an error that the syntax doesn't match is near equal to. Okay, so remember, this is not your typical programming language. This is SQL, where it simply suffices with a single equal to. Yes. No issues, Kapil. That's completely fine. What's more important is that you participated in the chat for me. And yeah, I get it. You must have missed the question, but I'm so happy that you people are so active in the chat. It makes me feel that I'm not talking to robots anymore. Yes. So now, when we move the query, I'll give you one more quiz to solve. Okay. Now, for the freshers who have zero prerequisite, it's completely okay to not be able to answer this because we have not covered this, right? But think about it, that what if I want the number of hotels, the number of rooms to be between 3 to 5? What if I want that? If I want the hotels to be between 3 to 5, what type of command should I be placing here? Think about it. Let's get on it. Okay, so we have Aryaman coming in as to use the and. Yes, let us try to hit it. What is stopping us? 3 and 5. When I hit it, I get error in the sequel near 3 and 5. So there is the syntax to use between. So when I use between 3 and 5, this is the correct syntax, but the logic remains with yes, we have to use and. So fair enough. And yes, those are also correct ways to do it. And this is where we have these will work for us. Uh, this would have worked greater than 2, but not the most correct way, because we by default know that today we do not have any hotel room having room size as 7, 10, or even something greater than 5. But tomorrow, if we have, your query will break over here, right? So the most robust logic is to use this. I think this serves a purpose. Now we will move to some advanced filtering with the you can say advanced filtering with text. Why not? Okay, why just remain on numbers? So let us say I want to find in the database all the hotels which are in Paris city for me. Okay, so let's try to do it. Okay, so the first thing is select everything from where even that remains static for now. Airbnb listings. What do I want? Again, the where query comes in, where cities is equals to what? Paris. And when I hit Paris, oh, so my DB for now has only one hotel in Paris, but that's fine by me. Okay. Uh, Once our database grows, there will be multiple of them, and where city, and we can use and clause, right? Number of rooms is greater than 2. But if I just do 5, you will see there is none such data that exists. Okay. So you can also, now you are smart enough to use and clause wherever needed, right? So that's there. Now what if I want to find hotels in cities which start from letter P for an example, or J for an example, right? So how can we do that? So again, what we will have to do is we will have to use the uh, where clause, where city and like is a keyword to do that. Okay, what is used? Like will try to mention that anything which starts with P and a percentage. So this regular expression will help your query understand that anything that starts from P and percentage will tell you there is continuation to it, anything that has P from it, right? Yes, I think the Saurya has already cracked it, right? uh, Is there also an or like languages? Yes, yes, Kapil. Definitely, the SQL has all the logic gates queries. Okay, perfect. All right. So where city is like P, and if I try to hit it, I'll get it's just Paris. And if I say J, it's null. Let me just look at what are the different cities that I have over here. Okay, now we have Mumbai, Toronto, Berlin. Let us use B because there are at least two cities from B. Okay, so I'll try to use B over here. Hit enter. I see Barcelona and Berlin. And one more thing that you should by now should have noticed is that the query is case sensitive. Even if I hit capital B, it still works the same way for me. Okay. Now, see, for the people who are using the online SQL editor, you were only limited to not be able to create this database for now, right? Because for some reasons that command was not working here, but you are not limited to use other queries that we are running over here, right? For example, if you look at the doctor, so doctor has ID, first name and last name over here, right? So you could have run query something like this: select asterisk from this database name is uh, hospital dot doctors. Okay, from here, and what do I want to select? Where uh, first name, okay, like percentage a, something like this. Okay, even before I run this query, let me try to see how does this look like. Okay. Okay, from doctors. Okay, so this is how the table looks like. Select a stick from doctors. There are different doctors. So we have some doctors whose first name starts from M. So then we can run our query over here. And there you go. You have Mariam, Mikey, Mary, and Monica, who have the first name starting from M. So the idea is that for the people who are using online SQL, be smart enough to convert my queries into your use case. Okay, if I'm working on hotels DB, but the commands remain same, right? Only thing is that your table is changing from the Airbnb listings to doctor, and maybe your column name are different. But try to use keywords like where, like, from. Okay, these things, and make sure that you are practicing along with it. Okay. Now, this is one way to look at it. The other way, suppose if I want, see, these are silly things that I'm solving, but I'm just solving it for something to bring as output, right? Uh, maybe these are not that practical. First name starts with M, but not like something that maybe uh, ends with we have Mariam, right? Let's not end it with M. So if I add percentage M, see how carefully I have shifted the percentage position. It is now coming before M, right? Which means that any text followed by but ends with M, not like that. So if I hit enter, uh, you will see now my query has a bug in it. It is trying to give me so many first names which not even start with M. And all the reason, okay, I'll leave it to you. Come on, guys. Can you just quickly tell me what is wrong with this query? Why it is returning me something that even start with C, J, J or S, something like that, right? Why Scott, James are here? Let us just quickly see it in the chats. I'm just quickly waiting for people to come in chats. All right. Uh, you see, I'll tell you simple logic. The logic remains in the operator, the logic gate and operator. I'm missing an and over here. As soon as I hit it with the and, okay, let me just quickly cross check, and the first name not like this. So if we hit it, this is where we are. So this is really interesting to see how database can work in such flexible ways, right? We can do what not with our database. See, earlier it was returning me Dr. IDs 3, 8, 10, 15, 17. And now, once I add this, carefully the ID3 is missing from the output only because it ends with M. Okay, so we could have also added an or command over here, or first name not like, uh, let us say it should not end even with Y. So uh, percentage Y over here, and once we hit it, the or command is breaking it, and there you are. So I hope the complexity of any query will, after some point when you've practiced a lot of SQL, the complexity will drop down. You will be able to quickly develop certain queries on your own, right? But this will only happen once you start practicing things on your own, right? So this is it, where we could have also used things like an in operator, where maybe we need it from a list of different options. So where a city is in, maybe like we need from USA and from India probably. Okay, these are things that we want, and if we hit it, okay, all right, if I just hit USA, the problem is the with the colon, I think. Yes, okay, 0 rows affected, select everything from, okay, let me also just check, use, mm, okay, alright, fine. Never mind, but I think this is how the commands are supposed to work. Okay, now I've explained you enough about the and or logic, how things are supposed to work over there. Uh, by now, basically, this should have enough enough idea about doing basic filtering, basic uh, querying, right? So by this time, you should have that fair idea on it. Suppose we want to check if our data contains null or not. Suppose if that is something that you're trying to find, right? So how could you do such things? So check if database contains null values. Okay. Now, so while I'm trying to check this, can someone tell me why do you think a primary key should not have null value in it? Okay, think about it. And let me know the reason why a primary key should not have null value in it. So meanwhile, we will check if our database contains null values. Select everything from the Airbnb listings, okay, where number of rooms is null. We want to find the null values. And once we run it, we are able to find, okay, none of it. So if we say is not null, then we are able to retrieve the IDs. Okay. So this is how we check for it. But meanwhile, can students try to explain us why a primary key should not have null value in it? What could be the logic of it? So let me try to give you one way to think of it. When we say that primary key has to be unique, no two rows can have same value or duplicacy in primary key. So when two different rows have null value, that is where conflict of the concept arises. It makes duplicacy, right? Say row number 10 in primary key has null and row number 15 in primary key has null, then by default these two values are equal to each other. They should not be. That's the reason that a primary key should not have null, right? Okay. Fine. So let us say we want to find sum of few things, like suppose you want to find the sum of number of rooms. So even the simple aggregation queries can be written like this, and we have total 62 rooms available with us, right? Okay. So this is some aggregation query that we can do. We can also find the max from here. Okay. The the max is 5 and the minimum is 2. Like, what does it say that, what is the minimum number of rooms in the total database that a hotel could have, and the max of it. We would also find the average, and so on. So even such statistical operations can be done, whereas the average is coming in the floats. Okay, you could even round it off to a certain value. So that's basically the idea. Let us try to uh, now try to merge our thoughts. Now we know basically how we can do a little bit of statistical analysis, but let's try to uh, combine it with the group by, okay, facility that we learned. We can group things on categorical values, right? And why not try to run a query which will be more like combination of everything, like grouping, filtering, and the sorting of it, right? So try to let's find total number of rooms in each country. Okay, let us try to think. Come on, students, can you try to think of some ways that how can we find total number of rooms in each country? If you can try to think about it. So primarily what we have to do is select the country, because we want country, right? And comma, what do we want? We want sum. Now whatever sum do we want? We want sum of number of rooms. Okay, from where? From Airbnb listings. Okay, because it's our table name, and we need to group it, right? We need to group by country. So I'll explain you what we are doing. We are selecting countries and we are finding sum of number of rooms in that country, uh, and we are using from Airbnb listing and then grouping it on country level, right? So once we do it, we will be able to find the country wise sum of the number of rooms available, right? But I have to find the average of rooms in each country. So this is it, right? The average of rooms that each country has on its own, right? So this is how basically you can do a lot of different type of filtering, right? Okay. So I hope this idea is clear. But now uh, I'll tell you that what if we have to sort in the ascending or descending order, right? What do you have to do that? So for that case, what you'll have to do is you'll have to virtually temporarily create a column name that this value, you see, max number of rooms right over here. This particular value right over here has this name, right? Max of comma number of rooms. Let me try to introduce it with some column name as you can say max underscore rooms. Now when I try to hit it, do you see that the column name has changed in the output? The column name now is mx underscore rooms. So the format or the idea over there is that this query, if I run it without this syntax, sorry, if I run it without the syntax, there is no column name to that column, right? If I run it with the as max rooms, basically I'm just specifying the column name that I want, and when I try to run it, it outputs it with the column name. So now is a good time to think that now I can also use order by. We learned how to use order by command, right? You can either use ascending or descending on it. So if I hit order by descending, okay, order by descending on what but, right? So order by the max rooms, okay, as descending, we get the output. And what if I want ascending? I simply get the output right over here, right? Okay, now I will give you one important live exercise. So how many of you are available for the live exercise? Can I get some comments? Okay, because I see that for some time the live chat group has gone dead. Come on, show me that people are still available over here. Show me the spirit that you want to continue, you know, because if you want me to solve more complex queries, I want some motivation to do that. Let's see how many of you can just quickly put in the chat, even just a hi, hello, or maybe some respond that you want to continue with more questions. Oh, I understand. Mm, this happened yesterday also. Maybe my live chat would have frozen. Yeah, yeah, that's correct. There are so many questions that I might have missed. Let me just quickly check. Oh yes, you were also replying to me about the primary key, which I was not able to check. Great. Okay. Interesting. All right. Perfect. So that's the spirit, people, and I think more and more people are coming into the chat. Great. So now, since I have got such an overwhelming response from so many of you, let's try to complicate our prompts a little bit more. Okay. Now, I'll give you a live exercise that all of you have to do. Okay. What countries do we have? We have Russia. Okay, we can use any of it. We can use. We have Japan, USA, whatever you want. Okay. Let's say for Japan and USA, okay, get the minimum number of rooms, okay. Um, so for Japan and USA, get the minimum number of rooms, okay, in each country uniquely. So think about it, how this can be done. Even if you can just guess just one, how from where do I start, what should be a start line, or if you're not able to even think about the prompt, think about what I'll have to do. what will be needed to run such a command, right? So even if you can type it in the natural language, that you will have to first select what, the country column, okay, and then do what on it. Along with it, I will also have to select the maximum number of rooms. And from where do I get it? So from the Airbnb listing tables, okay. But there is let us try to run it. I'll say select uh, country, comma, okay, hmm, country, say the max of, say, number of rooms from Airbnb listings. Let's first try to run this. Okay, okay, just a second. Okay, just a Python way of writing commands. Okay, okay, let me just check. I don't think there's any. Okay, let me first try to. There's no group by. Okay, 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 okay. All right. Let me just try to rerun this command. All right. So select country from Airbnb listings. Okay. I'm ready to hit it. This is the country available. Now let me try to use also the max visit. The max of the number of rooms. All right, and aggregate with group by expression select contains hotels Airbnb listing. Right click, copy response. Okay. Okay. So this is the incompatibility issue that we are hitting over here. Okay, let me just try to eliminate this. All right, so ideally what we're trying to do over here is trying to go for the countries specifically which are Japan or USA. Okay, so select country from Airbnb listing and the max of it. Okay, basically if I just do number of rooms, this works, whereas max of number of rooms tries to hit an error, which shouldn't have been the case. Okay, fine. Maybe we will okay, check with it. And basically we'll try to do group. Okay, I think obviously this is because we are missing the group by. So group by country is something where we should mention it, right? So let me just quickly go there and edit this. So this is where we are. Okay, so the idea is that I'm just trying to break the command into granular level so that you can try to debug it from a fresher point of view. That okay, the first thing that I was showing you is that maybe if I just want to first visualize what exactly is something that I can print. Okay, so if I'm able to break down the query into just country and number of rooms, this is where we are. Okay, now if I want to find the I think the idea that I gave you was to find the minimum in each, right? So if I have to find minimum, so this is where the issue was coming in, right? Now, if you look at this issue, you can just go to this message, right click, copy the message over here, and then maybe just try to print it over here. So this will try to tell you what is the error, right? So in aggregated query with group by, you see we are doing aggregation, minimum, maximum. We are trying to aggregate the query, and in that query we have to use it. We are doing it without group by. You see, this is the error that we were able to understand from this error prompt, that what is trying to say us, right? That we are trying to find minimum of number of rooms, but without using group by. So this is where you should be able to crack it. Okay, this is not exactly what I want. I want group by command over there, right? So group by country. Now we are here, right? Now I told you that I specifically only want USA and the Japan, right? So many of you are able to crack it. I see that the Kunal and Manali, at least you guys are on top of it. Okay, yes. So what is the use of group by? I think Piyush, by now it is clear to you that I was able to debug and tell you that what is not running correctly, that we need to find minimum number of rooms. We are using an aggregation query, right? So aggregation should be used with grouping, like group it on what, like average number of rooms where. So either on country level or city level, but where do we group it, right? So that's where the group by command will be useful to you, right? Okay. So with that being said, now in this query, we are still missing a primary component, which is like we have to limit the cities, right? So how can it be done? We can simply use the where the country name, where the country name is in either the USA or the Japan. I think I told you to go with the Japan, right? So that's it. So that's really interesting. The minimum number of rooms in Japan and USA are both two. Let us check for maximum. Uh, Even the max are both two. Okay. Let us also try to use India if it is available with us, because we have Mumbai. Okay. So even India has maximum two and minimum also has two. Okay. Fine. So this still works for us. We can group by on multiple levels, right? Suppose if we have to uh, find grouping even on, say, I think we have never used, let us see how many columns do we have. Okay, city, country, number of rooms. Let us also try to use years listed. So group by uh, maybe you can use select years listed over here listed. Okay, all right. So me, I'm trying to find years listed from year BNB listings. Okay, and then I'll use simply group by. So what about group by will I do? Maybe I'll group it by on your listed. Okay, and if I try to hit this query, I'll get, I have hotels coming in. Okay, I'll also have to maybe then order by, because I want it in the ascending order, or maybe I can just use the GUI, but this is how I can use order by your listed in ascending order. Okay, so 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, which is fair enough. Maybe this data is only till 2022, which we have created, but at least I can see each year I am getting some hotels listed, right? So that's fair enough. We could do any complication queries over here. So I think this is fair enough for now, and you can keep on practicing. I think keep on practicing more on the group by, on the order by, from, where. Okay, create, delete, alter. So I can help you. I help you even with the alter command if you want, like if some of you were interested in it. uh, so firstly, whenever you create a table, so suppose let us create a table, say by the name of temp1. Okay, I'll just try to create a table something like this. Okay, let us say it has id as a variable, which is an integer. Okay, uh, let us say we have first name, okay, which is like an varchar with say 50 characters max, okay, and it has a city in it. City is again varchar with 50 in it again. Suppose if you're just creating something like this, create table, okay. All right, just a second, semicolon. Let us try to hit this command. I think create table temp1. You have an error in the SQL query. I'll also help you understand that. Maybe we will have to explain the database name which we are going to use over there, right? So maybe we can just simply tell that create database and say temp db, okay, and use temp db, and like this is how we will be going there and trying to create a table over there, okay. Control a and run, and okay, maybe there are some issues in the okay, there's a comma over here, okay, run and record. Can't create temp db because database exists, okay. So if not exists, create database if not exists. So by the way, even if I have to explain you why did I get this error, is because in the previous execution, what happened that my executions happened line by line by line, right? So my first execution was successful. My second was empty line, third was successful, fourth was empty line. It reached the fifth line where it found, okay, there is syntax error. There was a comma present over here, okay, which made the error. But when I tried to run it for the next time, it was not running this first line for the first time. It had already executed in the previous command, which is why it is throwing that error, right? So if we try to hit it, you see those errors are gone, but maybe there will be some more syntax issue that we'll be using here. But that should be fine by now, okay. There might be some more issues with it, but what I'm trying to say you is, suppose if you have created a table over here, maybe if you want to just simply use the alter command, so you can just simply use the alter command over here. Let me try to mention it for you. Suppose if you want to alter something, so maybe we can use alter command right over here. Then we will have to specify which table are we talking about. Maybe the temp1 table which we are created, okay, or the db, or maybe first of all you will have to mention it's a table, right? So we will mention the temp1 is table that we're trying to use, and what do you want to alter in it, right? That is very important. So altering could be used for many different purposes. Maybe we are adding some column to it, maybe we are dropping some column from it, maybe we are renaming something, we are modifying the data type of it. We could do a lot of alterations. For example, if I have to add a column name, so I'll simply mention the add column name over here, right? Again, with the data type, maybe if it's a varchar, then I can enter the varchar of it, and then I'll try to run this alter command. So that's how basically it can be done. So now let us try to build one more thought process, that what do we do for tomorrow. So firstly, I want some feedback that were you enjoying the problem that we were solving today. Maybe what we can do is for tomorrow, we can try to run the problems with easy, medium and hard level, okay. We will keep on switching between lot of questions, where I'll give you a question, you have to quickly solve it. If you're not able to solve it, I'll give you the answer within the next 2 minutes. So tomorrow, let's keep it like a marathon round, right? Where uh, you will be testing the things that you have learned today, and you will be applying them tomorrow with like a live quiz, okay. It will be more like a gaming session that we will be using. We will be doing a sequel game, right? Yes. So great. I think people have really enjoyed the session today, and it was entertaining, informative, which is a good thing. I hope I was able to justify your time here. And tomorrow we will be going for a game mode, right? Where it will be like we will be on a war front. That every time I'll give you a new question with a timer. You will get a timer of 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes. You will be solving it. Then I'll be giving you the solution, right? All right. So that's really interesting. Thank you all for joining in today. I'll just mention the moderator that we are done. And yes, I'm just reading through some of the comments over here. Yeah, all right, sure, Piyush. I'll tell you about the update command also. All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye, everyone. Sayonara.